California's median home price is supposed to hit $905,000 in 2026. Another record, another headline about how California real estate only goes up. But here's what that headline is hiding. January 2025, two wildfires ripped through Los Angeles and erased $8.3 billion in home value from just two neighborhoods. And that was only the beginning, because the real collapse is not in the ashes. It is in the insurance letters arriving in mailboxes across the state right now, telling homeowners that their coverage has been canceled and their homes are no longer insurable. Nearly 400,000 insurance policies have been canceled in California since 2021. And when you cannot insure a home, you cannot get a mortgage. And when you cannot get a mortgage, you cannot sell. And when you cannot sell, your home is not an asset anymore. It is a trap. Today we are counting down 10 California cities where wildfires have made the housing market completely collapse. If you own property in any of these places, you need to hear this. If you're thinking about buying, you really need to hear this. Let us get into it. Santa Rosa kicks off this list because it shows you what wildfire does to a housing market, not in months, but in years. The Tubbs Fire tore through this city in October 2017 and destroyed over 3,000 homes. That was nearly 9 years ago, and they are still rebuilding infrastructure. The Coffee Park neighborhood was almost entirely wiped out. Nearly 1,400 homes were destroyed in a single night. Today, those homes have been rebuilt with modern fire-resistant construction, and they look beautiful. But here's the part nobody talks about. A home in Coffee Park that sold for $114,000 in 1987 recently sold for $700,000 after being rebuilt. Most of the original working-class families, the teachers, the mechanics, the hospitality workers who made up that neighborhood, are displaced. They could not afford to rebuild. They sold their burned lots for $180,000 to $230,000 and left. According to Redfin, Santa Rosa's median home price is down 3.3% year over year as of January 2026, and 81% of all properties in the city sit in a wildfire risk zone. The fire did not just destroy homes, it replaced the people who lived in them. Paradise is the name that changed everything about how California thinks about wildfire. The Camp Fire in November 2018 killed 85 people and destroyed roughly 85% of the entire town. It was the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history at the time. 7 years later, Paradise is still rebuilding. According to town officials, it now has the fastest housing production rate in the state. But according to Redfin, the median home price dropped 13.7% year over year as of August 2025, landing at $360,000. And the biggest obstacle is not construction, it is insurance. Carriers have pulled back from high-risk zones, and homeowners who rebuilt brand-new fire-resistant houses still cannot find affordable coverage. You can build the strongest house on the ridge and still lose your ability to sell it because no insurance company wants to touch it. San Diego at number 8 shocks people because this is supposed to be California's safest bet. The eastern and northern parts of San Diego County sit directly in wildfire interface zones. Insurance premiums in those areas have doubled, and in some cases tripled, in the past 3 years. Some carriers have pulled out of certain zip codes entirely. According to a report from Real Estate News, insurance-related real estate transaction cancellations nearly doubled in California between 2023 and 2024. Buyers are now requesting insurance quotes before they even write an offer. And when the quote comes back at $30,000 to $60,000 a year for a home in a high-risk zone, they walk away. San Diego's weather is still perfect. Perfect weather does not mean much when your insurance bill makes your mortgage payment impossible. Riverside County is where the Inland Empire meets the wildfire line. Parts of this county sit in high fire hazard severity zones. Carriers have been pulling back and pushing homeowners onto the FAIR Plan, the state's insurer of last resort. The problem is that the FAIR Plan offers bare-bones coverage, and it just proposed a 35.8% average rate hike because it cannot keep up with the losses. If you bought a house in a riverside hillside community, thinking you got the affordable Southern California dream, your insurance situation may have already turned that dream into a math problem you cannot solve. Ventura County has been on the wildfire watch list since the Thomas Fire burned through it in December 2017. That fire scorched over 280,000 acres and destroyed more than 1,000 structures. Since then, fire season in Ventura has expanded. It starts earlier and lasts longer. Insurance companies have responded by retreating. Buyers are avoiding hillside properties, and the same premium spikes hitting San Diego and Riverside are hitting Ventura's canyons and ridgelines. The view from a Ventura hillside home used to be the selling point. Now it is the reason the home does not sell. Topanga sits inside the Palisades fire burn zone and was included in the more than 16,000 structures destroyed across Los Angeles County in January 2025. But Topanga has a problem that Pacific Palisades does not. Topanga is isolated, one road in, one road out, rebuilding phases. FEMA's new flood elevation standards and California's strict environmental regulations, permits, are moving slowly. Residents who want to rebuild are stuck waiting. Residents who want to sell are discovering that a vacant lot on a narrow canyon road in a high fire hazard zone is not exactly a hot listing. Malibu, at number 4, is where the collapse gets real. The Palisades Fire destroyed approximately 700 homes across Malibu's coastal neighborhoods. The median home price has dropped 20%. Sales volume is down 52% compared to last year. Only 22 building permits have been issued despite hundreds of applications. In La Costa Beach, one of Malibu's iconic stretches, occupied homes have dropped 35%, and property values have fallen 28%. Properties are sitting on the market for 152 days, up from 115 the year before. Malibu's average price per square foot fell from $1,599 to $1,418, and 99% of all properties in Malibu sit in a wildfire risk zone, according to First Street Foundation. The community that defined California coastal luxury is now defined by vacant lots, rebuilding bottlenecks, and insurance policies that cost more than some people's mortgages. If you are still watching at number 4, we clearly think the same way. Subscribe. The top 3 hit different. Number 3 is not a single city. It is every city in California that has been pushed onto the FAIR Plan. The FAIR Plan is the state's insurer of last resort. It was designed for a small number of high-risk properties. As of January 2026, it holds 668,609 policies, with a total exposure of $724 billion. Enrollment surged 43% between September 2024 and December 2025. It grew 424% between 2020 and 2025. There are now over 150,000 uninsured households in California's highest-risk zip codes. Here is what makes this a housing market collapse. Banks will not approve mortgages without insurance. If you cannot get insured, you cannot sell to anyone who needs a loan. Your buyer pool shrinks to cash buyers and investors. They are not paying what your home is worth. They are paying what you will accept when you are desperate. The FAIR Plan is also proposing a 36% rate hike. 14% of its current policies are in areas the state classifies as low fire risk. The insurance retreat is no longer just about fire zones, it is spreading. Altadena, at number 2, is the most dramatic housing crash in the data. Before the Eaton fire, in January 2025, the average home in Altadena sold for $1.8 million. By late 2025, that number had dropped to $684,000. That is a 62% decline. According to ABC News data from the Los Angeles County Assessor, 121 mortgage foreclosures were recorded in the Eaton fire burn zone in the first 9 months after the fire. Corporate investors purchased 44.3% of the lots that sold. 8 companies were behind 40% of those corporate purchases. Undamaged homes in the burn zone still lost 16% of their collective value, falling from $3.8 billion to $3.2 billion. There is a grassroots movement called Altadena is not for sale, urging neighbors not to sell to developers. But for some homeowners with mortgages on homes that no longer exist, and with insurance payouts that do not cover the rebuild, selling is the only option that makes financial sense. As of this year, only 31 residential projects have been completed in the entire Eaton fire zone. Number 1 is Pacific Palisades. Before January 2025, the average home sale in Pacific Palisades was $3.6 million. By October 2025, it had dropped to $2.4 million, a 33% decline. The Palisades fire destroyed 6,837 structures and wiped out $5.2 billion in property value. In the first 9 months, 91 mortgage foreclosures were recorded. Investors purchased 40.3% of all lots sold in the third quarter of 2025. Vacant lot listings exploded from 7 a year earlier to 309. 1 year after the fire, only 2 homes had been fully rebuilt, despite more than 1,400 rebuilding permits being issued, in what used to be one of the most desirable zip codes in America. One real estate investor spent $27 million buying and renovating a beachfront home in this area. After it burned down, his fair plan payout maxed out at $3 million. He is still making mortgage and property tax payments that exceed $100,000 a month on a house that no longer exists. Pacific Palisades is not just a housing crash. It is the clearest example in America of what happens when wildfire, insurance collapse, and rebuilding failure converge on the same zip code at the same time. Those are 10 California cities where wildfires have made the housing market collapse. From the Coffee Park subdivisions of Santa Rosa to the beachfront lots of Pacific Palisades, the statewide median might be hitting a record, but behind that number, there are real communities where people lost their homes, their insurance, and their ability to recover. If you are thinking about buying anywhere in California, check the fire hazard severity zone map before you check the listing photos. Get an insurance quote before you write an offer. And if the home is in a high-risk zone and the only option is the fair plan, do the math on that 36% rate hike before you sign anything. If you want to stay informed about what is actually happening in California's housing market, subscribe. I cover this state every single day. Drop a comment and tell me if your city made the list. And if you want all the California data in one place, the full guide is in the description. Every number, no fluff. We will see you in the next one.